Hi, I'm Jake. I'm an American from New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Leonie. I'm from France.
And today we're going to be talking about differences with breakfast between the United States
In France.
So I'll start. I have moved to Paris about 3 years ago, and I realized that the breakfasts are very different. In the United States, the breakfast is mostly, well, it's very big to start with. There's a lot of food on your plate versus France, where I think it's a bit smaller. What do you think about that?
Yeah, whereas in France, it's more on the lighter side. We have a little tartine, which is bread with butter and jam or honey. Or we can have little viennoiseries, which are pain au chocolat, croissants. What else do we have? Cereals.
Do you prefer American breakfast or French breakfast?
Depends on the day. If I have, if I have time, I prefer having eggs and bacon in the morning and pancakes. But I kind of rush on weekdays, to be honest. So
yeah, I prefer American breakfast, but I've gotten habituated to the French style of living. That's for sure.
I understand.
American breakfast is usually eggs and bacon, while the French breakfast is what?
Yeah, like cereals, viennoiseries, like I said, like tartines, which are bread with butter plus jam or honey, which I honestly don't necessarily do. I just grab a little viennoise from the bakery next door and I eat it on the metro, which is not typical.
Yeah, that is not very typical. That's very
It's really
American.
not.
We eat while we're working. We eat while we're going to work. It's
I just want to save time,
yeah, it's more efficient, isn't it?
It's more efficient.
Yeah, I haven't noticed people drinking a lot of drinks in France. Americans, we like to drink orange juice or apple juice. What do they usually drink in France?
Orange juice for sure. Probably also a cup of coffee. I drink tea. That's my thing. But some people even drink hot chocolate in the morning. I used to do that as a kid, but now it's more on the tea side.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of tea drinking here.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of different kinds of tea. Americans, I notice when we drink orange juice or apple juice, it's very industrialized. Meaning it's made at a big scale, and the quality isn't always very good.
Yeah, I could see that. In France, it's industrialized too. However, processed food in the US is really bad for your health.
Yeah, it's so bad.
So I would say in France, although it's industrialized, the quality is much better.
The quality is definitely better, I have to say. That was something where when we first met in the United States, she would tell me, oh, the food here is so bad. It's all industrialized, mass manufactured. And I didn't realize that really until I started living in France.
I remember.
It's very crazy, the differences between food.
He would ask me when we just moved to Paris, he would ask me things like, hey, is this jam made of fruit, like real fruit? And I was like, you don't even have to wonder in France. It's not just chemical things put together. It is made of fruit.
It's really the fruit. Yeah. Which also is interesting because there's a lot of fruit or fruity kinds of things that are eaten. A lot of sweet foods are eaten for breakfast. While in the United States, it's mostly protein. We mentioned eggs and bacon. It's not like that in France, right? It's not bacon and eggs. It's
not really.
Yeah, it's very light or sugary things. And
traditionally, of course, there's people who don't do the typical thing, but yeah,
that's
traditionally.
True. Americans usually are eating things while they're working, as I mentioned. People in France, what's the culture like when people eat breakfast?
Usually, it depends on the family's rhythm and everything, but usually people like to gather around the table together. Again, not everyone has the same rhythm in the morning in the family. I would say it's more important for a dinner because this is probably the one time in the day where the entire family can gather around the table, and that's a very important part in French culture. You don't want to eat alone or just grab something from the fridge. We don't do that. We really want to spend that time with the family around the table, and it's not just sharing food. It's also about sharing your thoughts about a certain topic, what you've heard during the day, speaking about your day, maybe some also problem-solving parts coming because, you know, with the kids at school, there's always problems happen. So I think it's really about gathering around the table for food and to spend time together. It's not just about feeding yourself.
Yeah, Americans have a different view of food, I would think, or a different view of breakfast. Breakfast tends to be more of a means to an end. That means that in order for me to complete my objective, I need to eat breakfast. That tends to be the view. People don't spend so much time at the table like they do in French culture, but I see the benefits of both.
Yeah, I have to say though, people tend to rush in the morning in France too.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
you know, like the kids need to get ready. They don't. If they miss their bus, it's the end of their day. So it's like, yeah, you gotta rush, and some kids don't want to eat at all.
Yeah, but kids will be kids no matter what culture they grow up in.
Right. But yeah, I would say, you know, I grab a cup of tea and then I walk down the street, grab a little viennoise from the bakery next door, and I actually eat it on the metro. So I am not a typical French person.
She's become
that
Americanized.
way. I've always done that, even as a student. I have to say I needed to be efficient. You know, I'm not a morning person. I'm more of a night person.
Me neither. I've always been a night person as well.
So I would tend to like rush even in the morning.
Yeah. Well, cool. That was just a little insight into the differences of culture between the United States and France when it comes to breakfast. We hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.